Please welcome to the stage the co-founders of The Home Edit, Clea Shearer and Joanna Teplin, and Julia Borston, Senior Media and Technology Correspondent, CNBC, and author, When Women Lead.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here, and it's so great to be here with these amazing women who I am a huge fan of personally. I love to organize my pantry when things feel rough in the real world, and I feel like that is so much of the appeal of your business, which is all about creating order out of chaos. And what's so amazing to me is you've built this empire, this organizational empire, in just 7 years. So I thought just to start off, tell us a little bit of your founding story. And when you met and decided to launch this business together, what was the vision? Did you ever imagine you'd be here today after 2 seasons of a Netflix show, a podcast that's in the works, so much?
Yeah, we definitely,
Wow, we are loud.
yeah, we are loud
Whoa.
and in charge. Okay, yes, love a headset. Joanna and I met in Nashville. A lot of people think that we met and we're friends and then started a business. We actually met through a mutual friend who set us up on a blind lunch date, really.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start an organizing business in Nashville. Joanna had one previously and wanted to restart it in Nashville. And what she was very clear on is that she didn't want to do it with me.
I didn't want a partner. It wasn't specifically you.
No, it wasn't specifically me, but she was just like, absolutely no go, no thank you. So I talked her into having lunch with me, and we got up after 4 hours as business partners. We were just like, here we are.
Yeah, I was just like, she is right. This is going to work.
Yes,
No,
I was right.
You were
Turns
right.
out. And that day, we started the Home Edit that day. We came up with the name, the logo, our social handles. We got the domain for our website. We started filling out paperwork. We did not Google each other. We
just
knew
drove
nothing.
right in
Yeah.
head first.
So when you ask if we could have imagined even a shred of success, the answer is no. We didn't do a lot of
definitely
thinking.
not.
But we just got to work.
But got to work with a business and very much using social as a central piece of your strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the idea in terms of the roadmap? I mean, when I look at your path, and it started with this big social following, you had the actual business, but then you started launching products. You had the book in, I believe it was 2019. It was a massive bestseller. When did you start realizing this was more than just about the business itself?
Well, very early on, we had a couple of goals for how to differentiate ourselves. The world of organizing is not new. A lot of people...
It's been around forever.
It's been around for a long
Yeah.
time. I'm sure cavemen organized something.
They had to, rocks and stuff, right?
So we weren't going to reinvent a rock, but
Right.
we were like, what can we do to bring something new and different? And I have a social media background, and I noticed that no other organizers were using Instagram in the same way that interior designers use it, and it's such a visual medium. And I was like, we can make the world of organizing, I think, look more beautiful. I think we can focus on bringing the form and function, marrying that aesthetic quality, putting our signature stamp on things, and using social to promote it. Another tactic very early on was I grew up in Los Angeles and knew some celebrities, whatever they're called, celebrities. I don't know. So, but we did very early on. August 2015 is when we launched the business, and in October we did a trip in LA for a week where we just exchanged a social post for organizing a project for them, and that really helped kind of put us on the map, gain quite a bit of social following, and celebrities beget celebrities. All of a sudden, other people that we didn't know were calling us, and I think that from there. We just started seeing that things were taking off in ways that were bigger than just an organizing business.
And we said yes to everything.
Yes.
We truly did not say no to a single thing. We did anything and everything full feet on the gas to our husbands.
Yeah, we acted as though our husbands don't have jobs.
Yeah.
We still act like that.
We do still act like that, yeah.
But, Joanna's right. We said yes to everything, every opportunity. We were like, it could lead to another opportunity.
Right, you don't know where something's going to take you.
Yeah.
So we just said yes.
And you've accomplished an immense amount in the past 7 years. It's so interesting because your partnership and your approach in so many ways exemplifies the traits that I see in female leadership. And there's so much research research about in female leadership, including your collaboration between each other. Tell me a little bit about your partnership, how you decide who takes the lead on what, and how that relationship has evolved.
Well, very, very early on, Joanna and I weren't like, tell me about where you grew up. We were like, what's your strengths and weaknesses?
Totally.
So we just like skipped right ahead.
We really skipped over.
And very early on, when you're only two people and you don't have a team and you have to do everything yourself, we just kind of...
You're like, who's slightly better at something than the other person?
If someone was slightly better, it was their job.
If you had ever read something about like law once, you were now in charge of the legal person.
You're the home edit legal department.
That's right.
So...
Right, if you had ever used a calculator, you're now the accountant.
Yes.
So that's sort of
I
how...
had good handwriting, I became the labeler. Obviously, social was under my... We just divided and conquered. I feel like Joanna and I are the same exact person and also completely opposite at the same time. So I feel like where we duplicate, we duplicate in good ways, like we can both organize anything.
That's
but all the other stuff...
Right, and Clea's, she's being very humble, but she actually is a social media expert. So that I would say she did not fall into. She is...
I don't want to brag, but I worked at MySpace. So... Just saying.
What's so amazing, though, is that you have an aesthetic that is very specific. And so it's very clean, it's very clear, it's very organized, but it's also incredibly colorful. And I was wondering if you both came to that together, if that was one of yours originally. How did you agree on sort of what the aesthetic is?
I would say early on, I led the aesthetic charge more. I went to design school in New York. And it was really important to me, again, because of Instagram, we had to make it really, really beautiful. Everything starts with a system, and it starts with the form and it starts with the function. But we deeply believe that if a system can be smart, it can also be beautiful.
Yeah, you can make anything beautiful, but first it has to be smart.
It has to be smart.
You cannot start the other way.
So I was putting that at the forefront of our brains very early on. And then, of course, it just becomes second nature to us. But when we talk about the rainbow, it's actually a really nice metaphor, really, for the home edit, because it symbolizes what we stand for, which is form and function. And a rainbow is actually a labeling system. So again, if you color code your closet, you know where the red goes, where the pink goes, where, you know, everything is right there in front of you. And when something looks beautiful, you're more likely to maintain your system. So that's really how it all
just works.
Started.
And for any of you who are not following them on social media and have not seen their show on Netflix, first of all, you should, because it's awesome, but also you will see the beautiful rainbow and also some of their products, which are very much rainbow colored, and my closet is now color coordinated, thanks to your inspiration. So walk me through the business model here. So you were very good at dividing up what people should be, which of you should be in charge of what. You clearly surrounded yourself with a team of other people to complement your skill set. I saw that in action on your show. But then you built what's really a media empire, which then you made a deal with Hello Sunshine earlier this year. Walk through how you decided to go down these paths in terms of the products. Now you have a second product line that's coming out early next year with Walmart. You started with the Container Store. How you walk through how to go from the business and the social to, Netflix, products, book, and sort of how you figured out that path.
Well, a product line was really the very first thing that we wanted to create. As organizers, Joanna and I was like, why didn't they just ask us? Like,
right.
why doesn't this exist?
Right, why does this not fit in the thing that we needed to fit into?
Like, if this is stupid, we can make it better. So we very early on, as organizers, we were like, we need this to exist to make our lives easier. It was about us.
Right. It was entirely about us.
Our lives easier. Yeah. So we ended up getting a manufacturing partner, and we have a whole product line at the Container Store. We also have an exclusive product line at Walmart with a whole bunch of new categories coming out this year. So products, that was like as big as we could have dreamt, right?
That was something we thought about when we first met. We were like, wow, it would be really great if we could create our own line that was all modular and work together in a smart, cohesive system.
And as far as the other extensions, the media piece came actually when Hello Sunshine reached out to us and said that they wanted to create original content, and would we be interested, and that Reese Witherspoon found us on Instagram. And I was like, I pulled over.
She did.
She
pulled the car over.
I pulled the car over, and I was like, I would like receipts. I need you to read me the email. So they did. And then literally at the same time, we were doing an organizing project for Molly Sims, was creating content for her book that was coming out. And she was like, you guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, she's like, well, you're crazy, but
right.
yeah. But
she's like, you're crazy, but maybe in a way that works. And she was like, I think we should do a pilot. And so Hello Sunshine, Reese, and Molly all kind of joined forces. And it's kind of funny because to this day, I don't think anyone was like, do you want to do a show? Like, it was just like, you don't say no. Like, if these people want to do it.
Right, we're just like, okay, well, where do we go?
Yeah, where do we go on Monday? I don't know. So we ended up doing a show, and at the same time, we also decided to write a book, which is crazy. And we've now done, every time we like take a break from a show, we write a book. And every time we take a break from a book, we do a show. And so that media piece kind of just started to organically happen. We put out a magazine this year. We launched a podcast this year. Our podcast, which we just started in October, is so fun and so different. And if anyone thinks doing a podcast is easy,
no, we have news for you.
It's not. Joanna and I thought, like, filming has to be so much harder than a podcast. And we were like, we're going to crush this. We are going to sit down.
Yeah, we were
in
like,
front of
what?
microphones.
You're just talking.
You're just sitting and talking. You don't even have to do anything. No, it is so hard. I'm here to tell you. If anybody wants to do a podcast, it's very hard.
Cautionary tale.
Cautionary tale.
But it's really fun. And we're learning so much. It's so fun to learn something so new. And we're so inspired by all the guests that we've been able to have on.
It's really been such a unique, fun experience. The show is called Best Friend Energy. And it's like, the kind of conversations only best friends can have. And we bring on all sorts of fun guests and
we force them to be our friends.
And some of them we force to be our friends.
What's so interesting to me about that is that's almost a brand extension, right?
Yes.
Because everything up until that point has been about the products, the organizing, the system.
Yes.
The book is very accessible. I always thought it's interesting where you're creating a book and products that basically put your service as organizers, make it less valuable because you're enabling and empowering people to do it themselves, which is awesome. Yeah.
So you're putting ourselves out of business.
Yeah.
But
in doing so, you're building an empire, right? So the core thing that you started doing, it becomes just part of this bigger whole. But so what was so interesting is watching your show. It's very personal. It's all about you and your relationship and your team and your personalities. And then from there, you've decided to launch this podcast, which is not about organizing in the home.
No, it's not.
So tell me about the direction, taking your business, your partnership in that direction.
Well, Joanna and I, pretty early on, when Instagram stories came about, we need a strategy around stories. And our Instagram feed was always what made sense. It was about organizing. It was, all of our work, our systems.
And very aspirational.
Yes, very aspirational. And Instagram stories, we were like, well, we can't do the same thing. So stories became kind of our vehicle for just our personalities and to show that, yes, we're very good at organizing, but literally nothing else. And so our stories just allowed us to be on airplanes and the cities we go to.
Right, and just showing the real sides of us. I mean, again, we have one talent and one singular talent only, which is organizing. But the rest of us, don't ask us about being great moms. We're not, we don't know,
We're fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're good enough, right?
Yeah. But so stories became we wanted that blend for everything that we did. And so our podcast isn't about organizing, although we take call-ins and questions.
Sure.
People ask about organizing. And it's not like we won't talk about it, we will.
Yeah.
But a podcast, we wanted it to feel more like stories and have those kind of just fun conversations. And I think people want to hang out with their girlfriends and they want, what we get a lot is because of our Instagram stories, people feel like they know us personally.
But it also makes the organizing and the perfectness of what you accomplish less intimidating for people like me.
We can do it.
Yeah, literally if we can do it.
Yeah,
right.
literally if we can do it. I think that we wanted a podcast to be really just fun. Mm-hmm. And our show kind of blends both the organizing and the fun, but a show is visual and a podcast is audio only. And organizing really has so much of a visual component to it that it didn't really make sense. And who wants to listen to a podcast about organizing? I don't even want to do a podcast about organizing. So we wanted it to just be fun, and I think that's what people are wanting from us. Not every podcast, but our podcast.
Before we run out of time, I want to make sure to ask about the Hello Sunshine deal, because this was a huge deal, a big decision. Obviously, you knew Reese Witherspoon and her company were interested in you from the time she discovered you on social and wanted to make this show, but the decision to sell the company to Hello Sunshine, which is now part of Candle Media, this larger media company, what will come of this partnership, and why did you decide to take the company in that direction?
Well, Hello Sunshine.
I mean, they've been part of our ecosystem for so long.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
they have
4
been
years.
partners for, even before Netflix. We had a small show called Master the Mess, and they were just such natural, incredible, supportive partners for us. And the opportunity presented itself kind of naturally. We weren't seeking to sell our company. It just it evolved with one simple conversation with the CEO, Sarah Hardin. And the next thing we knew, we were like, this is 100% the right partner for us.
Well, Sarah, again, they've always been such advisors in our life. And we actually asked her, this was a year ago, we asked her to meet us for brunch because we were in LA and we had some extra time. And we were honestly just wanting to pick her brain.
Yeah, we just needed advice.
We just needed advice. And she's like, what if we bought you? And I was like,
Great.
okay. I was like, again, the lesson here is if Hello Sunshine asks you to show up on a Monday, you just say yes. You just do. But again, they're such amazing partners, and they always have been. It just felt like such a perfect fit. And, the whole mission of Hello Sunshine is to amplify female voices and female storytelling, which is so much about our brand and what we do. And the mission of Candle Media is to really be at the intersection of content, community, and commerce, which again is so much about what we do. So it just synergistically all felt right. And, again, like Reese Witherspoon being your boss is not a bad thing.
So since that deal happened at the beginning of the year, you, Clea, went through a very personal tragedy and challenge of surviving cancer, and you've been treated, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We're very happy that you are through that. But this must have been incredibly challenging. I mean, incredibly challenging, not just as a personal thing, but as business partners and for the business.
Yeah, we were acquired on February 18th, and I was diagnosed March 8th. So it's like, did not even get a minute to celebrate. And it has been a very, very challenging year, but also, I'm so lucky. I'm like the luckiest person in the world. So I have Joanna, everyone at Hello Sunshine, at Candle, everyone's been amazing. My mom moved in with us, which I didn't think was gonna go great, but it actually was wonderful. And when she left right at the end of radiation, and I was so sad. I was sobbing that she was leaving, which is so crazy to think as a 40-year-old woman that I'm sobbing that my mommy is leaving, and it represented that I was done with treatment because she moved in right after my double mastectomy, and then I had chemo and then radiation. And it was supposed to be yay, this represents that I'm done. And it was wow, this year has also had so many really special things about it too. So, and being able to talk to so many other cancer survivors and people going through treatment, and it's being able to tell my story has been the honor of my lifetime.
And also such a gift to all the women who you're helping. And it seems like that must be important to you. I know it's important to so many women who you're helping. So now you've been through this crazy year. So much has happened. You've accomplished so much, both personally and professionally. Looking to next year, what else is on the agenda? You have this new podcast. What could you possibly add to your media empire?
I will say this, okay? No one at our company is allowed to be 23 is our year, because that is a mistake. When you do that, let me tell you what happens. It's somehow not your year. So no one, it happened, 2020, remember we were all 21 is our year. And it was oh, and then 22, and I was I have cancer? And everything is just, no. So no one's calling it.
Right. 23 is gonna be absolutely fine.
23 is gonna be fine. We're just gonna keep plugging away and doing everything that we do. We're so fortunate because we have these amazing tent poles in our business. We have our product collections, we have our media piece of our business, we have our social piece of our business, we have our organizing company. That was when you said early on, what was your strategy? Our strategy was to not exactly spread ourselves quite as thin as we ended up doing, but
diversify in all different ways.
And we're very lucky that we have those verticals, and we're just going to continue to expand and do better and do better things with the amplification of Hello Sunshine behind us. And And, it has to be better than this year. It has to be. So,
But so many different verticals, right? Now that you have the podcast, are there going to be more magazines? Is that going to, are there going to be?
I don't know.
We're working on so many
working
different
on
things.
so
I mean,
many
right now the forefront is the podcast because
Yeah.
it's amazing how much energy and time it takes, and anything we do, we want to do really well.
Yes.
So that's really where we're focusing our energy.
So then I'm going to have my last question be about where you started, which is social media. As you expand, as this empire gets bigger and bigger, how do you maintain that social media relationship with your fans and make sure it's authentic and feels authentic, even if maybe you don't have the time to be doing all those posts yourself?
It's really hard. It is a full-time job, and I say that like that is the most obvious thing in the world. We have a whole team of people who help us, but
Fabulous team.
Thank God for them. But Instagram stories is something that I have always taken really personally, and it's something that I think is still part of like our special sauce. And while I was sick, I really wasn't able to film very much, and I was like, this is one of my personal goals now that I am recovering, that I can't give that up. I think it's just really important. And I think that having that authentic voice and having that connectivity is why we have all of these things. And so anyway, it's one of my personal goals for 23.
So we'll keep watching you on social and all the other platforms. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
For being here. It's such a treat to get to
Thank
interview
you so
about.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.